Welcome to the show, guys. Lots of big NFL news going on right now, including the big mega contract with Aaron Rodgers, making him the highest paid player of all time. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, the fantasy impact related to that and everything else, including the mega trade, blockbuster trade with Russell Wilson going over to Denver. Going to be diving into that. Mike Williams signs a deal as well, and other news right here for you, including all of the fantasy impact and implications and the ripple effect these mega moves have now had. So I'm going to dive into that here with you guys right now. Before we get into the show, guys, pristineauction.com is giving away some amazing giveaways, including this beautiful signed Javonte Williams helmet. Yes, we're going to be talking about Javonte Williams fantasy impact here as well with Russell Wilson, but you can win his helmet, guys. Right behind me is the Speed helmet, guys. Beautiful helmet. And if you guys want to get in on all these giveaways, pristineauction.com, use code SWAGLINE. Create an account. It's absolutely free to create an account. Once you guys do that, I will enter you guys in for all of the draws moving forward. That's pristineauction.com. Use code SWAGLINE. Let's dive into the show, guys. Fantasy impact based on the latest news and notes. All right, guys, welcome. If you are new to this show, make sure you guys click the subscribe button, follow button, whatever it is, whatever platform you're on, make sure you guys are following if you guys want to dominate your leagues. I do not do cookie cutter advice here. I give you practical advice to help you guys win and cover the latest news and notes for NFL. And we also talk other sports, including NBA, MMA, and other things that are trending. Okay, guys? So make sure you guys are subscribed. Very important. All right, let's dive into this, guys. The biggest news here into the news and notes, and of course the fantasy impact, is the big mega trade here with Russell Wilson. Looking at the facts here. So the Broncos, they receive Russell Wilson and a 2022 fourth-round pick. That's what the Broncos get. And, you know, my opinion on this, the impact of this, I think this is a great move. Now, let me tell you before also what the Seahawks receive. They receive 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and defensive lineman Shelby Harris. So Seahawks do receive a lot, but they lose their ace quarterback. And the thing I've learned in fantasy football is that an ace quarterback is crucial. And there's only X amount of ace quarterbacks that are really good in the NFL. So I think the Broncos got a deal because I still think Russell Wilson's elite. I still think he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback based on talent. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's good. I think last year he had a bit of a regression, which is fine. It happens. And I think it's because he lost his passion playing in Seattle. And I don't know all the information, all the personal stuff that went on behind the scenes, but I would imagine that it's a good move for him. I'm really excited about Russell Wilson and a resurgence and something that's really going to ignite him. And again, for fantasy football, he's outside the top 10 in rankings because he finished outside the top 10. I think now we are looking at a great situation and a great fantasy football impact for Russell Wilson where he's at. He's got Javonte Williams at running back, rising, budding star. Now they still, and I keep emphasizing this, I cannot express to you how I'm annoyed that as of right now, you know, Melvin Gordon's a free agent, and I think he's in talks of possibly re-signing with the Broncos. So assuming he's there, it's going to impact Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams gets more than 203 attempts based on last year, but I still think Melvin Gordon's going to be a thorn in the side. So I'm hoping and praying that Melvin Gordon goes away. But, you know, you've got yourself a great team. You know, you've got Courtland Sutton, who's going to be a touchdown monster, who is theoretically going to, you know, replace, I would say, you know, the DK Metcalf that Russell Wilson's used to. And I think he's better than DK Metcalf in some ways. And then you've got Jerry Jeudy, who is, you know, I think younger, more dynamic than Tyler Lockett. So from a PPR standpoint, Jerry Jeudy is going to be phenomenal. Who's going to emerge between these two guys and get most of the volume? That's still to be foreseen. We got to find out. We're going to find a little bit more out as the, you know, training camps go and things start, unfolding. Okay, especially after the NFL draft. So Jerry Jeudy, again, I do love him. I think he just got a lot sexier for fantasy. They've got Tim Patrick there, and they've got a tight end, guys. And I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but let's do it. Albert Owu Gunham, okay? I just call him Big Al. How about that? So they've got Al at tight end. They've got Russell Wilson. They've got Courtland Sutton. They got Jerry Jeudy. They got Tim Patrick. They got Javonte Williams. This looks like a team that wants to win the Super Bowl. They are, you know, really pushing forward for that. So this is good. This is, again, fantasy impact for Russell Wilson. This is really good. It's going to help him. I think he bounces back, has a great year. It's going to take him some time to settle to the new offense, but he's got his weapons. And I think, Sutton and Judy are great receivers. They just have not been in a good situation. They haven't had a good quarterback throwing to them. This is really going to help them. And I think as of right now, they're good value on the consensus rankings. I think these guys, I'm definitely grabbing one, maybe if not two of these guys based on the value that I can get them for, okay? Let's keep going on here with the news. Now, one other major breaking news thing here we got to talk about is Aaron Rodgers and his mega deal. Now, this is massive. So I'm going to put this in perspective for you how big this is. 4-year, $200 million contract extension, okay? Now, this guy was talking about retiring, but obviously he found a deal that works for him. $153 million guaranteed. So, $50 million annual salary, guys, makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. Rodgers is now 38. He was considering retirement, now has opted towards this contract extension, a very lucrative one, a very good one. That's why I'm wearing the Packers hat today. So you ask yourself, what is the fantasy impact? I think, again, this reignites Aaron Rodgers' passion. Davante Adams, other breaking news here that came out yesterday, is that the Packers are placing the franchise tag on Adams, and apparently the tender should cost about $20.1 million. Both sides have until July 15th to finalize a long-term agreement. So Adams coming back for the last dance, right? Aaron Rodgers. So they are looking to make a push to the Super Bowl as well, and they can be contenders. I genuinely believe that. So Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams coming back. Fantasy impact should be solid for both of those yet again, but you're going to have to pay a pretty high draft capital if you want Davante Adams on your team, all right? So things are looking good. Going back to Denver news, they did release Deshaun Hamilton. I want to make a note of that. Now, the Broncos intended to trade or release Hamilton last offseason, but plans were put on hold because he did suffer a torn ACL. So Deshaun Hamilton's gone. Like I said, I think they're set with Sutton, Judy, and Big Al there in Denver. So I am excited about Denver Broncos overall offense this season, okay? Looking at other news, I don't want to miss anything on my notes here. We've got Allen Robinson will be an unrestricted free agent as well after the team declined to use a second franchise tag on him. So it's going to be interesting to see where Allen Robinson falls. I heard some buzz maybe back to Jacksonville. Again, we haven't seen Allen Robinson really shine the past couple years. He had the one good year. I think it was like 2014 or 2015, one of those years. We had like 12 or 14 touchdowns. I haven't seen Allen Robinson do anything, so his fantasy impact is in question, and that's predicated on who is throwing to him. Again, I'm not a big Allen Robinson fan. He's had years to wow me as of late, and I'm not wowed, okay? Also, guys, this is important here because I'm a big Justin Herbert advocate and a believer. Breaking news yesterday, the Chargers are signing Mike Williams to a 3-year, $60 million contract extension that includes $40 million guaranteed. I'm not a big fan of Mike Williams. If you look at him statistically, not that impressive. Had a good safe year last year. He's got a good quarterback throwing to him. Was plagued with injuries earlier in his career. I don't think he's good. He's good at coming up with the ball, 50-50s, stuff like that. Can be a good deep threat at times. But Mike Williams, I think this is really overpaid, paying him $20 million a year for a guy that, is just not that good. So the Chargers obviously believe in him. They made that decision. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm not really sold on him at all. But again, I just wanted to come on and dive in here, particularly with the news about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. These are big moves because these guys are staple quarterbacks, top 5, top 10, ability quarterbacks that now have got a resurgence and they're going to reemerge and reignite their career. I'm hoping at least for a couple years, and particularly that situation at Denver is something you want to monitor closely in regards to fantasy football because, again, you got Courtland Sutton, you got Jerry Jeudy, and who's going to be the one there? Who's Russell Wilson going to gravitate to, something to watch? Is Javonte Williams going to be the workhorse back? He should be. And again, I compared the situation very similarly to Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack. As soon as the Colts sidelined Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor emerged. That's the type of potential that you're hindering by putting somebody in a committee. Imagine if Jonathan Taylor was in a committee and he had half his volume gone. You would never see the full Jonathan Taylor. That's exactly what's happening in Denver right now. You're seeing it with Javonte Williams, who was hindered to only and limited to only 203 attempts last year. 203 attempts went to Melvin Gordon. And that really limited Javonte Williams' cap for fantasy football and reality when he is clearly the younger, more dynamic, youthful, more upside running back. Because Melvin Gordon has had opportunities to be the workhorse back with the Chargers years ago. Didn't do it. He's only got one 1,000-yard rushing season. That's really unacceptable for a guy who's going into his 6th, 7th season. Like, this is a guy who's a veteran running back, right? So Javonte Williams needs to flourish. Melvin Gordon needs to go away. This I cannot emphasize enough, and I will lose it if Melvin Gordon ends up staying and he gets picked back up by the Denver Broncos, now being a free agent. So I'm hoping and praying Melvin Gordon goes away. I'm hoping Judy. I like Judy. I don't know. I got this feeling about Judy being a PPR monster this year. I like him. You get value at the tight end with Albert there, the tight end for Denver. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name again. You guys in the comments could try to explain it to me. I don't know. And then you've got Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and the resurgence there. This is a good thing for A.J. Dillon. I think he's going to be a fantasy football sleeper as well, okay? So if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I mean, there's other news as well, defensive news, but I just want to cover the main two, the breaking news here, particularly with Russell Wilson and the ripple effect there. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers and the ripple effect there. Okay, guys? If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys follow for breaking news, NFL news, and, of course, follow my Instagram at Fantasy Football Counselor. Tons of content and amazing content there that's outside of the box. And, again, get that 16-round draft solution to crush your leagues. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys are enjoying the news. There's a lot of stuff going on here right now in the NFL. A lot of moving parts, so I'm going to try to keep you guys in the loop on everything. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We'll talk soon.